Hi everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to create a project in Adobe Photoshop with your desired canvas size, PPI, and orientation. I'll also be showing you how to change those settings and how to export your project with the different options Photoshop has to offer. So the first thing you're going to want to do, if you haven't already, is open up Adobe Photoshop. Once you open up Photoshop, you'll want to click on the Create New option on the left side of the screen. So once you do that, you'll get this menu that has a lot of options in it, and from here you can either use Adobe's pre-formatted presets, and these presets have the dimension and the resolutions already chosen and done for you. These are best used for when you're creating something for a specific program or device. So like if you're creating something for a website, you'll want to use Adobe's website presets. Or if you're creating something that'll be viewed on an iPhone, you'll want to use their iPhone presets. Or if you're printing a poster that has to be a specific size, you could use their poster preset. So there are a lot of options. For this tutorial, I'm just going to use the default Photoshop size. And in order to change the canvas size, you'll want to look over at the right side of the screen. So on the right side of the screen, you can see your options for your width, your height, the units that you want your width and height to be in, the orientation of your project, as well as the resolution, which is in pixels per inch. To change the dimensions, let's just say I wanted this to be 18 inches wide by 36 inches tall. I would just type in 18 by 36 in the width and the height, and that would change my dimensions when I create my project. That also changed the orientation because my width is smaller than my height, so that's something that you have to think of. If you type in your width as a smaller number than your height, then your orientation will always be vertical, but if your height is smaller than your width, then your orientation will always be horizontal. You could also change your orientation by clicking on the orientation option over here. So right now it's vertical, but if I wanted to change it to horizontal, I would just click that and it would flip the width and the height for me. To change my resolution, I would just go down to the box that says resolution, and let's say I wanted it to be 800 pixels per inch. That means that in every inch of my project, there are 800 pixels. So the higher your resolution, the more detail will be in your final product. So I'm just going to keep my resolution at 800, and I'm going to create my document with these settings. So here's my created document. You can see that it currently is just a white background. So let's talk about changing your canvas size once you actually create your document. So if you decide that your document is too small, you can still change your canvas size when you're working on it. What you want to do is go to the toolbar on the top of your screen and select image. From there, you can click on canvas size, and you can change your width and your height depending on your needs. So let's say I need it to be 50 inches by 25 inches. That would make the canvas bigger like that. So your canvas is just how much space you have to work on for your project, so you can make it bigger or smaller if you need to. When you add more space to your canvas, it will be the same color as your original canvas. So my original canvas was white, so that means my added canvas is also white. This also applies if your canvas is transparent and other colors. So now let's export this project. I know there's nothing on it, but we're going to export it. So to export your completed projects out of Photoshop, you first want to save it. So I'm going to save it as tutorial 2 or 1. So I'm going to just save it to my desktop and in that format. So now it's saved. So now I'm going to go to File in the top toolbar and Export. And you could either quick export it as a PNG, or you can click on Export As to get this menu that'll show you all of the different options that Photoshop has to offer. So you can change the file setting, so you could either export it as a PNG, a JPEG, a GIF, or an SVG. You could also change your image size, as well as your canvas size from here, as well as your color profile. You could also change how your image scales over here. So if I wanted it to be 1.5 times bigger, anything that was actually on it, if there was anything on it, would scale to be 1.5 times bigger. And that's pretty much it. So that's how you change all the different settings in Photoshop when you're creating your documents, as well as how you export your final product.